She's a great kid, and then just something happened.
Wait! I talked to your mom and dad. Let me help you.
After The Pact premiered, I felt like I was at this kind of crossroads in some ways, which is, what kind of filmmaker do I want to be? And in some ways, you have to measure that against what kind of filmmaker they're going to let you be, because of how much, money they're going to give you to make a film. And I was told at that time, specifically from an agent, that the best thing that I should do is to make for my second film, a slightly more mainstream horror movie from a company that had a deal with a studio, so that potentially I could get it on 2,000 or 3,000 screens in America. And that way I could be put in the position of directing a studio movie. It's this kind of conveyor belt that they want directors to be put on, because it means that everyone makes a buck. But for me, the cinema was always first. That's why I always got into it. It was never to make money. So I thought to myself, what kind of filmmaker do I want to be? I don't want to be that filmmaker that they're telling me to be. Maybe at another time. And I was in the position after The Pact of having, a few different people wanting to make movies with me. And so what I chose to do was go and write the script for this movie, very kind of impulsively, just kind of feeling my way through it. And I was just trying to write something that interested me, and I felt like was a movie that I was seeing inside my head and that I hadn't seen before in the cinema. And that's not to say that it was a bold experiment, but it was an experiment, and that it would be a film that's all about taking chances and putting myself in a position of potentially failing, as opposed to putting myself in a position where I was going to say, well, this is the tried and true way that this works. So that was, the philosophy writing this movie, and I knew that my crew would have my back, because I have a very talented number of people who I've been making films with since the short films that I made. My production designer, my DP, my composer, my editor, and that's the reason that they were making short films for me and not getting paid, and the reason that they were, that they made The Pact in this film and getting paid a fraction of what they normally would be getting paid, is because they wanted to do something different. So I wanted to carry on that tradition with them, and that was the spirit this film was made in.
We were good friends. There was a boy. She met him when she went up to California.
All you have to do is play the game. He's chosen you.
After I saw what happened with Hannah, it opened my eyes that there are bad things in this world.
There's so much access now to so many different kinds of movies because of this explosion of information, technology, the internet. And we're able to see so many different kinds of films from so many different places that can do so many different things. And so it is ironic that at least in America, the very kind of simple, high concept genre films often are the ones that make it to the theaters, But to me, because there's so many new markets for films to come out, there's a chance for filmmakers to do interesting or slightly left of center things inside the genre. And At the Devil's Door, in some ways, is a reflection of that. It's it's a movie that if you read the premise, it might sound like a horror film that but when you watch the movie, the idea was to kind of turn these things inside out, And that was interesting to me, to kind of give an experience to an audience that wasn't that absolutely familiar experience that you now have people have come to expect, which is that there's a premise that's introduced, there's a series of kind of jump scares, and there's a lot of things that explode at the end, and that's the end of the fucking movie,
Sí.